My position was I'm the former head of the Egypt News Center, which is running the whole news, political, at all the state media.
So it's the main state television?
The main state media, I mean. At the time it was the television, all the channels. At these 18 days I was running or managing the whole channels and the radio stations as well.
And, well, everyone will recognise a difficult position to be in as all these events are unfolding, but what many would also say is you took the wrong decision because you tried to keep everything going. You kept Tahrir Square off the screens. You did too much what you were told to do by those in power and didn't understand that things had changed.
I'm afraid that this is not quite accurate. There is two stages in the coverage for the Tahrir Square and the uprising in Egypt between 25th of January until 11th of February. The first 5 days, starting from 25th of January until 2nd of February, we were trying, myself and my team at that time, to maneuver our way under the pressure which we are under at that time. Don't forget that these days we had a regime splitted on itself. We had sectors of this regime, several powers. We have the army on one side and the intelligence in the same side. We have the presidential palace and we have the street.
And they were all calling you, saying, do this, do that.
All these parts were trying just to have control on the media. So the first 5 days, we were under a huge pressure. We were trying to find our way. We were trying, I sat with my team. By the way, I was running something like 3,000 employees. But this is over staff, actually. The team worked with me. It was something like 100. And I've sat with them from the first day. And I told them, we are not working for a man, a regime. We are working for a nation, and we will try to minimize the damage for the country as much as we can.
That was what Mubarak himself said, didn't it? To rescue the nation. I mean, in fact, could you not? And I bet quite a few of the people who were working for you realised that this was the moment that Egypt was going to change, and better to be on the right side of that change.
I'm afraid this judgment, you can say it now. But when we were in the middle of the events, let me just finish the second part of the coverage. It started from midnight 2nd of February, and I wrote about that in deep in my new book, which is coming week. On the 2nd of February, we took a decision. We have one of two choices, and this is what I told all the powers at that time. Either we will go ahead with the professional broadcasting, professional work, or I will take my stuff and go out. And this is what I did. And this is what we did at that time. Starting from midnight, 2nd of February, this is 10 days before Mubarak left his position, we took a decision, and they accepted. They had nothing to do, but they accepted at that time.
It's still the case, though, isn't it, that a lot of the impetus towards freedom came from other television channels, obviously, particularly Al Jazeera. You were behind in that. And I just wonder, in retrospect now, whether you think you made a mistake, whether earlier on you should have said to the regime, look, the game's up. We need to be free about this. We need to show what's happening.
What we did at that time, we did show what's going on. It's not, again, look,
not to the extent that others did.
One of the game we were playing actually at that time, I'm a professional working in the state media, all right? I was trying to have it as a real public media. I couldn't do that actually, and I discovered that at the time. I was a professional in a position, and I have many powers. One of them is the Minister of Information. I was in the 5th floor, he was in the 9th floor. He was one of the main player with the presidential. I was trying to find my way. Do you know one of the games we played at that time? There is some people, they didn't want to be on air. What I did at that time, at the first 5 days, I called my people, call whoever, he is an opposition, yeah? And I just turn my phone off, and I'm not in my office, and I don't answer. And when he called me, what's going on? The presidential palace is crying. I said, oh my God, did they do that? No, I will try to stop this until 2nd of February. After that, we fly.
You've got some fascinating details in the book about the things that happened, and in particular, Mrs. Mubarak, who was obviously, I mean, pretty broken up at the moment that the game was up and they had to leave. Describe what happened, because you revealed that she was almost on the helicopter and then went back into the house.
That's right, yes. I have been told that Mubarak is tipped off out of his position that morning around after he left at noontime, and he called them. I'll be stepped down, and Sintan Tawi told him no, don't do, but he, at the same time they accepted. So they approved that they will announce the statement after his family leaving the Cairo, and they went to the airport at 2 helicopters, and Mrs. Mubarak, I was waiting with the general with the statement and waiting for the instruction to go on air, and we waited for something like 3 hours waiting for the helicopter to leave, and every time he called them every 10 minutes, are we going to live, are we going to pronounce it or not? And at the end of the day, we discovered, he told me that I think the First Lady doesn't want to leave the house. She is broken down. And when she went to the helicopter, she went back again. And he said, he joked, to say, as a joke, I believe that she forgot something in her house, jewelry or so, and she's going back to collect it. But one of the girls, he told me after that she, as a human reaction, she was completely collapsed, breakdown, and she was crying, and even she asked them, they were not allowed to go into the villa. It's a small villa, presidential villa. She asked them, please stay in the house, don't leave them, enter the house. So this is the story.
A lot of Egyptians will say thoroughly deserved. The money was stolen anyway. Do you think that now? Do you accept that what happened to him was absolutely right? He should be on trial. Just in a word.
Yes, what happened, this would happen anyway, by this way or other way. The regime, it's like King Solomon was like laying on his stick while he is dead. When the stick gun, he dropped.